I knew it. Another Herdat Media production.
Hi, Chantel.
Hey, Roxanne.
Good evening.
Okay, good evening.
Well, it's late. It's 10 o'clock. We're
Yeah, I know, but
recording.
you're like, good evening, ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen.
I get like this, hyperness towards the night. I'm always like dead at 6, 7, 8, and then all of a sudden I'm like back to hyper around this time. Does
Oh,
that happen to
no.
anyone?
I mean, I'm sure, but like not with me.
And lately, I don't know what's wrong with me. I've been eating past 8 and snacking, and I just need to stop. So, someone give me advice and tell me to have some discipline and stop being this way.
Mm.
I just like ate like 4 Twizzlers before, and I don't even like Twizzlers.
I
You know
know,
when you
ew,
do
that is not the candy of choice.
right, exactly. It's so
At least
ridiculous.
do it with something that counts.
I know. You guys, tomorrow, I don't know when we're releasing this. We're probably releasing this Friday, but tomorrow we are interviewing Jacqueline Larita, and we're so excited about it. It's been long overdue that we've been wanting to do this. I'm sure it's going to be a little bit long, and I think it's going to be very interesting. So we'll definitely release it probably early next week. So just wanted to let you guys know that that's happening, and we're excited. By the time you listen, it will be probably recording with Jacqueline.
I know, I'm so excited to finally do this.
I know. It will be, we had our Patreon listeners ask some questions, so I think it'll be really, really interesting to see how she answers it. Today was Orange County, and before we get into Orange County, we need to go over the hot topic of Tamra literally having a meltdown on social media.
I know, and like this is not the time for you to be having a meltdown with like this stage you're in with like whatever her like cosmetic thing that she's going through because it's not looking good.
Yeah, I think Tamra had a hard time just probably she looked I think we talked about, aging and stuff, and she obviously did some cosmetic work, and I respect that she's being open about it, and I think when you look good, you feel good, so if she wants to do that, go ahead. I do think it's too much for her to be sharing every detail of every day of this, like, peel, but to each their own, but I think she's kind of losing it because she can't leave her house, so she's literally just on her phone on social media, and so she's having a meltdown, answering people's questions, and, we already talked about how Vicky went on her podcast and said, that she doesn't have a relationship with her daughter, and Tamara couldn't seem to get over it and made another video where she was like, "You know what?" And she's crying, but like, no shade, I didn't see any tears, but she was crying, and it is I mean, listen, anytime you talk about someone's kid, it's a triggering point, okay? So, I'll give Tamara that, but, we've seen Tamara talk about Shannon's family, Shannon, Teresa's, like, husband, all that stuff, so, I mean, it's kind of weird seeing her react this way because she dishes it quite a bit, I mean, she has a
Yeah,
podcast.
that's what I say. Like when I was like watching that, I was like, she does so many things so that like the one time someone close to her does something to her, she loses it.
Yeah, and she basically was like, "Just leave me alone, Vicky. I'm getting lawyers involved," uh and it's just Vicky's opinion at the end of the day. Tamara always says, "That's my opinion," or whatever it is. And from what we know about the whole relationship with Sydney and Tamara, that's where Vicky's going off of. But she was like, "You can have the show. I don't even want the show. You can have the show." Like she's fucking losing
Oh
it.
my gosh.
Yeah, she was lo and she's losing it, and she looks crazy, and I'm just thinking, "Where's Eddie? Where is Eddie? What's going on with that relationship? Where is he?" So, anywho, so she loses it, she's freaking out. So, we actually went back and we, posted the Facebook comment that Sydney had did. This was not like yesterday that Sydney, her oldest daughter, posted this message on Facebook. She posted this on Facebook a few years ago with her graduation when she told Tamara, "Listen, I'm going to invite you to my graduation. If you come to my graduation, you are to not take photos. You are not to put anything publicly." And so then Tamara still did it after Tamara saw Simon do it. And so then Sydney went on Facebook and she went on this rant about how Tamara, how she refuses to have a relationship with Tamara, how Tamara's like betrayed her. Did you see what Sydney had said, Chantal?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I read it.
She just wanted to clear some things out and say, "I've been telling my mom, 'Don't speak about me publicly.' She still does." And then she says, she's even called me a mini Simon. She says, "My dad's never ever told us to, be a certain way towards her." She's like, "The reason that I don't have a relationship with my mom is because she was always neglectful. She left us without food in the house. She constantly put herself first." And then, she did talk about the show, said that she went to therapy for 3 years. And she says she's not wanted to be in the public eye, but Tamara has continued. And also, when this whole thing had happened, Gretchen inserted herself and she said, "You have no idea how brave your words are, helping so many who've been wronged by your mother's manipulation and lies as well. So thank you for being brave enough to speak the truth. I'm sorry your mother and your family is going through any of this, especially publicly, but continue to stay strong." And then Tamara had went ham on Gretchen for doing that. She literally, go check it out on our All About TRH podcast Instagram account. She went ham on it. And Tamara has said, "I will not ever come on the show if Gretchen comes on the show," which I don't believe. I still think she would stay on the show. But it's kind of rich of her to say that when, look at Shannon's situation. She got a DUI. This guy is trying to extort her. Then they bring Alexis, who is currently with that guy, where Alexis is saying there's videos that will ruin her life. So look how Shannon's dealing with it like a champ. And then Tamara says, "If Bravo ever decides to bring Gretchen back, I will not be on the show," yada yada yada. Where again, the thing about Tamara is, I get it if she had an opinion and she could take it, but like we've been saying, she can't take it. So it's like
Yeah.
that's where we lose the respect for her.
Well, that for sure, that's like her biggest trigger is her daughter. So like that's especially why she's losing it too. But like she's went so low on so many people that it's like, how do you expect that you're gonna be unscathed?
Right. 100%. And then Tamra, people were like, "Is that a recent post from Sydney?" And Tamra had said, "No, it's one her dad did years ago." The fact that she's now, her and Simon are good. In
Oh my,
fact,
she's saying that her dad wrote
yeah,
this.
she's saying, so Tamara now is blaming Simon for writing this post where Sydney reveals the truth of why she doesn't want a relationship with Tamara. But the thing is about, first off, Simon went through like a health scare. When Tamara got off the show, she befriended him. She acted very supportive of him. And now she decides to go ahead and throw him under the bus and claim that he wrote this, knowing that's going to trigger her oldest daughter. This is why Sydney has a problem with you, because you make statements like this that are not true, that your oldest is going to get upset about.
I think I find it so strange. Like, what is like the daughter that we are seeing now, who does really look like Tamara a lot? Like, what is her
She
relationship
does.
with Sydney?
I know. Well, so
It's so
Tamara,
strange because it's so awkward for everyone then because it's like I'm sure I don't know. It's just a
well,
lot. I
I
mean,
mean,
because it's like
it sounds like though Sophia doesn't want to speak poorly about Sydney, and she's told Tamara that, "I don't want to speak about my dad, and I don't want to speak about Sydney." So, I mean, it sounds like she's very, even if they're not like the closest, she's still protective of them.
yeah.
So Tamra had commented and went again on Vicky on social media. Again, she's losing it because all she has is her phone. And she goes, "It was never about the show. Stop lying about a painful situation. You know nothing about, you vile pig. So why do two of my children not speak to their dad? Is that the show's fault too? Have some sympathy for a tragic situation that has destroyed a family. Do you want to go after my parents and extended family too? They have no relationship with her either. Don't you have an elderly person to scam, fake chemo appointments to make, or a small animal to sacrifice? Washed up has been."
Oh, oh my God, using the word has been.
That is what Tamara is saying about Vicky. And it's like, you are so triggered, girl. Like, you are so triggered. And again, here you are bringing up your children who say, "Do not talk about me publicly, especially regarding my dad." But to save face, she's going to go ahead and bring up Simon. And it's like, don't do that. Don't bring up Simon's situation with your other kids.
And she's trying to yeah, she's trying to justify that like maybe they're in the wrong because she has two kids that are not talking to him.
Yeah, it's just, it honestly,
It's definitely very messy. Like ugh.
yeah, it's a very messy situation, and I get why it would be triggering to her.
Oh,
But
for
also,
sure.
we've seen such a crazy side of Tamara this season, and I just don't think she anticipated all the backlash with it. And I don't know how the hell she didn't anticipate that though. Anyways, let's talk the episode. So what did you think about today's episode?
Boring. I didn't love it either.
Yeah,
I'm just kind of getting to the point where like again, it's like we're like at like what the ninth, 10th episode. It's like I'm here for the like the whole drama, but I feel like it's like the same thing day in and day out
Right.
of like Shannon crying about what John and Jansen and Alexis are doing, and then the girls are there for her. So it's like kind of like being repetitive. So it's like I don't like this.
Yeah. I still like it. But I do understand what you're saying about the episode. I felt like that. It felt like this has happened the last couple of episodes, but I just think because he's not stopping and either is Alexis, that's why it's getting to this point where the whole thing is about them three.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, it starts off and Heather is juggling quite a bit, you know. She does do a lot and you know, she has to be on top of her mother-in-law right now, which is really sad, and the house. And I was dying with Terry DeBro poking fun at being Beverly Hills People now, where he did that accent. I don't know.
I know.
I did I don't know. Terry's like funny to me.
I love Heather and Terry. I think they're great parents. I think they like I just love watching them. I think especially watching Heather because she does some shit that I we never do or never see. But I don't know. I
Right.
think they're amazing parents. I mean, look what they're doing and they're supportive of their kids. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I love watching it.
Heather says middle school is the worst. So I guess, you know, her son is having a tough time. And Terry DeBro says seventh and eighth grade was the hardest for him. Were those tough years for you? Do you remember?
No, I was like the shit in like 7th and 8th grade. I feel like high school, like the beginning of high school is hard for me because like I felt like on top of the world in middle school and then in high school like you don't feel that way anymore. You'd like start over. But like I don't remember having a tough time in middle school.
Yeah, what's so weird is I don't remember having a tough time in middle school either, but I remember having like a a tougher time like in fourth and fifth grade.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. People like make fun of me all the time.
Yeah, like I used to get made fun of all the time. So I definitely remember that.
People used to
And
call me Tree, which is so funny because like tree huggers, but people used to call me Tree because like I used to have I still have curly hair, but I did not know how to do my hair. My mom didn't either, like the worst. So like I always would put tie my hair up on the top of my head and leave like remember my two little pieces out
yeah,
straightened,
I
and
feel
so
like
like people
that was such a trend though.
I know, but like because it was such like bush on top, people would say that it would look like a tree.
Yeah, see, like I remember that's really sad. I had guys
Very sick.
like little boys making fun of me. You guys teach your boys. Like I pray to God no boys make fun of my little girls because I remember that and it was really, really sad and stuff. So that's
Teach
just
all kids. Like no kid should be making fun
I
of anybody. It's like
know.
keep your opinions and things that you think to yourself.
I always tell Charlie and Sloan, I'm like, please, like if someone's
You need to
make
tell Sloan.
my my second child, I swear,
She's
Sloan, you
crazy.
guys, Sloan gives me anxiety because anytime we go somewhere, she will, like, say off the wall crap, and I'm like, "Where did it come from?" Like, today I was like for example, today at school, I was like, "Do you play" one of the moms, I love their kids, and I was like, "Do you play with their kid?" And she's like, "They always have boogers in their nose, and I always" and she's like, "And I tell them to wipe it," and I'm like, "Sloan," and I'm like, "Sloan, first off, don't be mean about that. You have boogers too." And I was like and she's like, "Okay, yeah, I'll tell her she's beautiful." And I'm like, "Yes." Like, she just, like, gives me so much anxiety with that stuff.
Sloan is like if like she remember the other day like we were FaceTiming and I showed her Val and she's like, "What's up with his hair?" And like it was
Oh,
just not
yeah.
gel.
She'll tell someone I've witnessed her tell someone their breath smells, and she no, not that. She has said, "Did you brush your teeth today?" And I'm like, "Oh my god."
She really
So
is so blunt. Like I'm so she's so crazy.
but I am, like, constantly, like, we are nice, we are kind to people, we do not, like to be mean, we don't wanna be hurt. So she is getting through that phase where she'll, like, if I, like, lose my patience with her, she's like, "Mom, you hurt my feelings," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry," you know? And she, like, tries to put me in check a little bit with that, so I don't know, kids are scary, including my little Sloan, and, they just need to do better. If I ever found out though Sloan did or any of my kids did anything to anyone to make them feel upset, oh my gosh, the rage that I would ugh, I don't even know.
Exactly. They should feel so scared.
Exactly. I think they will too about that stuff. But my oldest does that too, where she'll be like, "Mom, this kid always has boogers," and I'm like, Okay." She's like, but Charlie will be like, "I tell him to like get a Kleenex," and I'm like, "Okay." Oh my gosh. How do teachers deal with it? Teachers, we have a lot of teachers that listen to us, but that would kind of gross me out too. Of course, I would never say it, but how do you guys deal with that?
Well, that's probably why they're so grossed out by it, because like, when they have it, you go crazy on them, so, like, they know better.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. Because I'm like, ew, oh my God. Oh, I see. I have to watch myself, you guys. I really do. Being a mom is hard, it really is. Anywho, sorry, I know we just got through that whole bullying thing, but I just felt bad about that. Anyways, I'm really starting to like Shane in this weird way. I do think he and Emily, I've been saying this, they're a funny relationship. Like they've been together forever. You can tell they're best friends. And she's talking about Heather's fashion show and she's worried about if her clothes will fit. And then Shane throws her under the bus and he's like, yeah, because the Taco Bell you ate yesterday.
I know,
I
I
was just
cracked
like,
up when I heard
yeah,
that.
it just was, like, relatable because, he like, of course, he had to make that comment to remind her that she got Taco Bell, and she is very focused and obsessed with, being fit and healthy and all this stuff, so it's just funny that she got Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm loving Jen and Katie's relationship. You know how on other shows, for example, for Jersey, a new girl comes in, and then the most recent new girl will go after her? I like that Jen is so welcoming and getting close with Katie.
Oh, I love it, and I just really love Katie
Me
so
too,
much.
I do
Like,
too.
I enjoy watching her, I love her
Me
commentary, I love her
too.
confessionals, I love
Everything.
everything.
Yeah. So Jen's not able to go on the private jet because of court with her ex-husband, and it's just crazy that when you are in a relationship, it's not as easy to divorce. There's so much that you have to go through. And then we find out that when Katie left her husband, she got no alimony, no nothing. And that's really scary. I mean, I'm glad she found her way, but how scary is that, Chantel, if your whole life is your husband and then all of a sudden you get nothing?
I know, I just always remember your mom, like, putting that in our heads, so, like, that's, like, why, like, our asses work, and it sucks,
I
because they
know.
always said, "Don't rely on anyone," like, you just can't, and I get that's, like, why everyone goes hard on Jen, but like, it's so scary, like, that's why people stay in relationships, because money is a big deal, money controls you.
Well, my mom always used to say, hide money from your husband. She's like, always hide money. And growing up, I remember my mom, like my dad would give her like X amount a week. And my dad did very, very well. And then he kind of once the divorce happened, he like hit rock bottom. So like, that saying it's cheaper to keep her, that I think my dad does go back and he's like, I regret. And my dad's remarried, and I feel like he's like he kind of regrets it. I don't know. But his wife is lovely. But anyways, my mom, like I remember growing up where she would just like constantly talk about how she is putting money to the side and she'd like be like, don't tell your dad, but she's like, always, no matter what, have your own money. And I've told my husband that and he's like, okay, don't ever do that. He's like,
Yeah,
that's so
the thing
toxic.
the thing is, like, that's, like, there were like, it's, like, sucks to say, but, like, it was, like, their allowance, and it's, like, what she was doing with her allowance was just saving it, though. It's, like, not like she was, like, taking her own money. Both ways are wrong, like, for sure, but it's just, like, that was her money, like, that was her allowance that she got, and, like, instead of spending it on something stupid, she was saving it for, like, a rainy day. So I think it's kinda smart, to be honest.
Yeah. I remember, I
'Cause
think it was like,
it's not like she was stealing money. It's like he gave, like, let's say he gave her $1,000 every week, which is not the
no,
amount.
he was giving her 700 a week. I feel like I remember that number. And this was like
That's
back
so
in the
funny.
And yeah, and this was like and the fact that I remember that is weird too.
Yeah, so, like, instead of her just spending that money on everything, she probably would just save half of it.
Well, so one time my dad actually found it, and he found it it was like under the bed, but it was like in between the mattress or something.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, did you know that?
No.
Yeah, he found it. And I remember him going crazy. I remember that. And I was
Oh
like,
gosh.
oh, yeah. Oh
Yeah,
gosh, it was
definitely all of, like, again, you guys, my mom and Rexian's mom and all of, like, they're all sisters, like, so we all know them. I remember, like, another aunt of ours who used to hide money too, but it was more of a situation because, like, their husband wasn't good with money. Like, he would, like, gamble a little bit. So, like, I feel like there's certain situations like you kind of have to. I don't know. You
she
guys
was
tell us. Do you
terrible
guys
with
hide
money
money?
though too. She
I
was
know. I'm just
So
saying.
that's a bad example. My mom was like a saver and stuff. Like this one aunt was like she's terrible with money. So it's like I
But
don't
she
even
still had it saved. She still had to, like, figure it out and save,
I
like,
don't
on
I
the
mean
on the low. So I feel like
yeah.
everyone does it. Even
Yeah, they
our other aunt saves so much money. Like, who
which
knows where she
one?
the one that never worked her whole life. Like, she probably has money, like, everywhere
The
in that
oldest
house.
one?
Yeah, not my
Uh,
mom, but the one older.
okay, yeah. Yeah, I can totally see that. I
Or
can
my
totally
mom,
see.
my dad is broke, so like he barely gave her money, but she still has money saved somewhere. But it's not a lot. I used to count it like growing up.
Yeah, your mom is very she's not what's she doesn't need much. You guys,
Yeah,
it's like
she's
they've lived
very
in the same
simple.
house like her whole life. She doesn't need anything. It's not like she ever complained about your dad. Like your dad had a regular job. Like it's not he didn't like but like it's not like she ever complained about it.
Oh no, she does. She calls him cheap all day.
Oh, I don't recall that. I mean, I remember her like verbally abusing him, not yeah, with her mouth. Like she always insulted him. But I don't think she ever talked about his job or complained about the house or anything. Whereas in
Yeah.
my mom, like my dad was taking her everywhere, and she still would like find ways to complain about it. Okay,
Yeah,
we
no,
need to
I know.
stop, you
I
guys. I'm
know.
so sorry. We're like, do we have people in that are local listening to us right now? Because this is like they're like, I swear though, but they're like low key could relate to this or something. They're like, yeah, my mom did this, but I don't know. Maybe it's a Chaldean thing. Let us know because I'm very very curious about it. So, um, yeah. Anyways, I did a Moxie treatment, by the way, which is like this like laser face treatment.
Again?
No, well, Chantal, yeah, I did. I bought like another one because you're supposed to do a couple a year, and like, yeah, that was like the one thing where I was like, I'm not gonna tell my husband about this. I'm gonna put this money to the side because like it is a little bit more
See, everyone does
expensive.
it.
I know. Okay, but I wasn't doing it like weekly and stuff like at all. So, anyways, we need to. Okay, yeah, that was it. I'm sorry, guys. Let us know though. Anyways, so I love when we watch like, Real Housewives and we see money. For example, Heather, in the private jet.
I love
That's
it.
something.
Give it to me.
That's something that I would never. Chantal's actually been on a private jet, actually. So,
Yes.
so you've experienced that life. I've never been on a private jet, and I don't know why I would be scared to go on a private jet. So,
It is a lot rockier, I feel like, because it's such a smaller plane, you know?
yeah. See,
And
I'm
like
just not worth it to me.
there's now like when we were on one, like the Wi-Fi was like only like one person can use it. So it's like not as like luxurious and you think, but it is nice because like you're just like you have the room, you know. But then the day you're trapped in the airplane. But like you can like have mimosas and you can have drinks and like have snacks. So like it was fun.
Yeah,
But like assigned seating is on a whole nother level.
that is so
She's
scary.
crazy.
Yeah, so scare. Oh my gosh.
I would love, like, knowing anytime I would go into a, like, dinner with Heather, a vacation with Heather, like, I don't have to worry about, like, having to think or about, like, feeling like, "Oh, what am I gonna do next?" It's like she
Yeah.
plans everything out for you. She's, like, wild.
Right, absolutely. How embarrassing, though, for John Janssen to be wearing the designer shoes that Shannon Bedore bought him with his new girlfriend, but then he
That
feels the
you're
need to sue
suing.
her.
Yeah, like,
Yeah. Oh
it's
my
just, like this
God.
is where it's just, like, their relationship is so fraudulent, like, I can't,
I
like,
know.
I would never I would take away everything that she gave me, give it back to her, especially if I'm suing her.
So
Deduct that from
embarrassing.
the 75,000.
Yeah. Of course, Shannon like had mentioned it before they boarded, and Tamra has to bring it up.
She's so crazy.
It's
She's the
how are
one
you
friend I
not
would never
embarrassed?
she's the one friend
Yeah.
I would never say anything to because she always will bring it up, which it
Yes.
makes good TV, but she's crazy.
No, it's too much though. It's too much where I get anxiety watching it. So she goes, Alexis, what kind of shoes was John wearing to make things extra awkward and then make Alexis get even more defensive with Shannon? And it's like, just keep one thing to yourself. My God, you and Shannon just got good. Relax.
Literally.
Alexis keeps throwing shade at Shannon's aide, saying how pathetic that she is dissecting what John is wearing. And I think that's why Alexis is shook with viewers not understanding where she's coming from because she has yet to put herself in Shannon's shoes and realize that any person would be seeing this and being like, LOL, I bought those shoes for him and he's wearing it with his girlfriend while he sues me.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure she was triggered for sure.
Yeah. Alexis tells Shannon to find a different thing to focus on, but she hasn't stopped throwing her relationship in Shannon's face. It's as if Alexis wants Shannon to notice them and talk about them. It's the weirdest thing. Then Alexis goes, "I know it's not my fight, but he's my man," and it's just like, cringe. By the way, when they land and they get to wherever the hell they were at, I am Katie. Katie is me. We are not nature people, and Chantel's like complete opposite.
I know. I was like, "No, I'm like I like no, but the one thing I will say is like when when I'm like in nature. I love being in it all day, but I do want to come back to a nice hotel at the nighttime. Like I do want to be in a nice bed and I want to be able to shower nice. Like I'm not gonna camp, but like I'll do anything inside. I'll do whatever in nature. But like I just want to be able to come back to like a nicer hotel.
Yeah.
Like I'm like in the middle.
Right. Yeah, I'm just the whole time I'm like, this is not for me.
Yeah.
But I'll do it. Like but that's
You
not
don't
an
enjoy
ideal for
it.
no, I don't.
Yeah.
Um, so what do you think about Shannon getting a drink because she's on vacation?
I mean, this has been the same conversation again that we're having. It's like anytime, like it's like she's at a restaurant or she's doing something and she gets a drink, everyone's looking at her. I mean, I just think like I don't think just because again, just because you got a DUI does not mean that you can't have a drink. It doesn't make you an alcoholic. But I think her
But
situation is different.
Chantel, I listen, you guys. I'm Team Shannon, but I'm with Gina here, where it wouldn't even be worth it to me if I was Tamra, or I'm sorry, if I was Shannon, to be getting a drink, knowing that Tamra's been harassing me about drinking. It's just not worth it for them to talk more shit about me. So
But like she's proven herself that like both I mean less I mean this episode she was like in a complete like tantrum like crying because like she heard news but like the times that we have seen her drink so far in the show like she hasn't been acting crazy so it's like I maybe she's just trying to say like I can have
I
one
know,
or two drinks
but still, like it's
and
just
these
like
situations are so it's too much like Real Housewives is too much so I'm
I
sure like
know
she
that's
needs a good drink to
true.
take the edge off a little bit like she's
I
on a
know.
damn trip with
Yeah.
her ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend you know like I feel
Yeah.
like she can have a drink. But I see the other side too. I see where Gino's like, "Girl, I wouldn't it's not even worth
It's
it."
not worth it, right?
Yeah.
I'm heartbroken for Shannon. She countered John half the money that he's suing her for, which is a huge amount of money. And she feels like this is all extortion and she really can't seem to catch a break. And on one hand,
How is this real? Like, how can
I
this really
know.
happen? I just don't get, like, the
I
law system
know.
sometimes, especially because 'cause we've just been like I watched that whole, like, The Worst Ex, and then I watched the 2nd season of My Worst Roommate, and the amount of times, like, the legal system has failed us is just disgusting.
I mean, the whole system is scary.
I
So
know, but just,
we
like,
don't
I
even
don't
want to go on a
understand
rant
it.
about that. But oh my
Literally.
God. On one hand, Alexis wants Shannon to move forward, but then she keeps bringing up the video that says will ruin Shannon's life if she exposes it, and it's like I'm just over Alexis. But you know what? As I'm reading my notes, like this really has been every single episode the
Yeah,
same
it's like
thing.
same
Yeah.
thing.
Jen has temporary support. She's getting 6K a month with 5 kids. And Tamara thinks now that Jen is gonna rely on Ryan. But I don't see what the issue is with that because I mean, listen, Jen is not it's not like, she's 20 years old and she wants to start this crazy career. I mean, listen, if my
Well,
husband was
the issue is that like what if like, you and Ryan break up? Like what else do you have then? Like that's the
she
issue. It's
has
like
her parents.
okay,
I mean, her
maybe.
parents her parents are very successful and they do very well.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, but like I'm over them saying that Jen isn't trying to get a job. She has a mother effing job. She has a yoga studio. This and then she's on this show. So it's not like she's not trying and just sitting around getting her lashes done. Like that's not what she's doing here. She's raising 5 effing kids, which it's a lot to do. That's a job itself. And she's, back and forth 5 kids and has a studio and is figuring out stuff with her husband and then thankfully her fiance does pretty well, but I would love my husband to look at me and be like, "Retire."
I know. Does right now on her social media does she do like a lot of influencer stuff?
Jen? No,
Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
think
okay.
so. Yeah, I
Cuz
don't
that could
think
be a
so.
job like, she could be, try to monetize on
Yeah,
that.
maybe. Yeah. Um, so they bring up Sh Shannon at the mall having a cocktail by herself, and I mean, maybe she does have a
Yeah.
bit of a
That's
problem.
that's weird. No, that's weird.
Like, a
And like
little bit of a problem.
Heather
By
did say, like,
yourself?
I would never go to, like, a bar and get a mocktail, like, that's just such a lie, Shannon.
Right, and it's like, "Shannon, I get you're going through it, but you're also in the public eye. Go home and have a cocktail at your own bar, okay?" Like,
Yeah,
that
but,
is
like,
weird that she is doing that.
maybe she's trying to meet somebody, like, that sometimes, like, going to the bar, having a drink is, like,
It's
how
just
you can
bad
just
timing.
yeah.
Give it a year, give it 1 year, that's it, just give it 1 year, you know? John's so happy with Alexis that he wants to continue paying lawyers and going as Shannon. But sounds like he's the one who doesn't want to move on because we find out that he won't settle with Shannon because he says that Shannon has ruined his reputation, so he would rather hurt her. But the only person who has ruined John's reputation at the end of the day is John, who has shown his true colors this season.
Yeah, 100%.
I think about the fact that John was around Shannon's kids and he knows that Shannon got so triggered with the whole David stuff with her ex-husband and her kids. So it's like the fact that he's willing to do that and you were around Shannon's kids, like it's so weird to me that a man would do that.
It's just weird that he's, like, in the circle still. It's like, it really is,
I
like,
know.
when they're older, it's, like, the messiest breakup. I think one of them said that, and it was just,
Yeah.
like, really weird.
Well, and it's not like Shannon ever spoke poorly of John because John ended up dating Alexis. Like this was while they were together, she would vent to her friends.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just so different. Gina brings up the video that Alexis has and she acts like she did it on accident, but she obviously wanted Shannon to know, which I'm all for. Because I wanted Shannon to know. They tell Shannon about this ring camera footage that allegedly shows her almost hitting his daughter, and she can't take it anymore. She has a breakdown. She calls John a monster, which I agree with. And imagine poor Shannon saying she will have to pay him what he wants to end this, but none of this ends because hours later she has to face his girlfriend who she's going to go to dinner with. Like, it's never going to end, even if she pays him up the whole thing.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I
Shannon,
wouldn't even wanna pay him. I
I
really
kn-
wouldn't.
but then you see Emily and Emily's saying pay him.
I know.
I know, I don't know. Shannon is struggling. She tells Heather how you can tell she's not going to go to the dinner. She tells Heather how she's done defending him and she obviously isn't going to anymore. She talks about the night of the DUI, shows Heather how as soon as she got the DUI, she sent John a picture and it happened where he could hear it and she was bleeding and he never even responded. He just went to sleep. What did you think about this whole thing?
Yeah, I think that's weird and disgusting, and, like, I just remember, though, like, right after this, DUI stuff, that I remember seeing a picture, like, a paparazzi picture of, like, him helping her, like, leading to a door. So, clearly,
Oh, yeah.
you still talk to him after this, like, you still try to I don't know, maybe she was still going through it, when he was helping her in this moment, but, like, that's what's weird to me is, like, the relationship still was happening, and he still was trying to help her after the fact.
Right.
So, I
Yeah.
don't know.
I mean, it's just, like, very that's why he's toxic. Cause like, 1 week later,
Yeah.
he meets Alexis, and then he just completely throws Shannon under the bus.
Yeah.
I don't know. Lots of toxicity this season.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, he
But
needs to go.
I am exactly, like, I am ready for things to kinda change because Alexis is repeating the same thing over and over and over again, and it's not landing Alexis, it's just not.
Yeah, she had no idea that that was gonna happen.
Yeah. It's
None of them
crazy.
did it, actually. I don't think a lot of them thought that, except the people that have been on our side, with, like, the ones that are like the Emilys and Ginas, like, they feel bad. I think Tamra and Alexis really did not think it was gonna happen this way.
I'm able to tolerate Alexis and Gina I'm sorry, not Alexis, Emily and Gina a little bit more this season, especially Gina, who I really could never stand because of the fact that they're so empathetic towards Shannon.
Oh yeah, I'm loving them this season. Like I'm enjoying all the ladies. Like I feel like they're doing all such a good
I
job.
don't like how Gina and Emily went for Jen though, like, ew, that was so ugly because it was like they were totally reaching for something that wasn't there. And also, like, what did you think about the Gina and her Travis thing? I mean, I don't know how Gina doesn't realize this is if he did this, she would have left him and she would be crying every night to sleep.
I know they're still together though, so
So weird.
I know.
That would kind of
There was
gross
something
me
there
out.
was
I would be
something
turned off by him that he still wants to be with me after that.
Oh, the one thing I think you miss is like the whole Tamra telling basically telling Katie that Gina set her up. Like
I
what do you
know.
think about
I'm
that?
just over it because Tamra does stuff like that, and I'm
Yeah,
so over Tamra trying to stir the pot with now throwing Gina under the bus.
I know.
And it's like, for what? You guys are fine. Relax.
Cuz she wants Heather all to herself. So anybody that's close to Heather, she's trying to ruin that relationship.
Oh gosh. I don't know. It didn't seem last season that she wanted Heather to herself. It seemed like she wanted to sabotage and get Heather fired.
Yeah. Well,
I
then
don't
maybe
know.
she wants Heather to be not have any friends.
Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy, crazy stuff. She's just very quick to throw people under the bus. That's just who she is.
Oh, for sure.
But what an episode. Yeah, you guys. I think that's all that we have for OC. Again, early next week, we will be releasing our Jacqueline Larita interview, which we are excited about. We are going to go off and record our Patreon episode. So
Yes.
join us on Patreon. We have such a great community. We have chats, separate chats for each season, and everyone gets along very well. So it's nice. It's not a toxic, like, thing at all. We don't tolerate that, and it's a really great environment with great people, and we're all constantly talking on there. And plus, you get 2 extra episodes from us. So join us on Patreon, and thank you guys for the support. Also, you guys, please make sure you're following us, especially with us getting our account taken down. Follow us on All About TRH Podcast Instagram.
Yeah, we're now Rexanne's putting up the stories from All About TRH on there, so you can get
Yeah.
your news.
Yep. So we're doing both on the podcast Instagram account.
Yeah, you're gonna see neutrality. That's not a word. Neutral stuff, but then also our freaking sides.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Thank you guys for listening. Anything else, Chantel?
No, I think that's it.
All right.
I think one day, this month or year, Roxanne will let us talk about Dubai. So
I
we'll get
actually
back
am
with
caught
you.
up, so we will.
Mm.
Yep. So we will. I did. I finished it today. Because
There's
one
a
of our
lot.
listeners reached out to me and they were like, Roxanne, please really watch it. And I was like, all right, fine, I will.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Bye,
bye,
guys.
guys.